This is News 8 Now, this morning.
The family, Carl Wolf's family, held the event for 10 years, and then the family decided to step away, but my husband and I continued on. So this is our 19th year hosting the Horse Bowl.
The Apple Blossom Bike Tour is such a good event to bring La Crescent community together. We have some of the most beautiful areas in the whole tri-state area to bicycle.
There have been several world champions produced out of our program, and I think log-rolling started about 30 years ago in La Crosse, and we've built up programs in La Crosse, Onalaska, Holmen, and La Crescent ever since.
Good morning, everyone, and that was your morning eye opener. I'm Jeremy Wall,
and I'm
Derek Dua.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Derek Sibley. I got ahead of myself.
It is August 14th, 2023. It's also Monday, so.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's a bit of a wet Monday here, too.
It is. It's also a bit of a chilly one, too. Only a high of 69 today, Derek?
Yeah, you know, we got a lot of moisture around right now, Jeremy, so we're going to be looking at some cooler temperatures as a result of that with all the cloud cover and rain showers around. So as we take a look at the latest radar here in just a bit, I do want to show you that it is looking a bit here wet and stormy across portions of the Coulee region this morning. But, you know, really a lot of the heavier rain, though, is mainly focused across the Chippewa Valley. So if you take a look at the radar, you can see what we're dealing with there, what we're talking about, especially up towards Eau Claire, Bloomer, Ladysmith, and just east of Spring Valley into Clark County is where we're seeing the majority of some of those heavier downpours. Meanwhile, across our central zones, we're also looking at some not so much heavy rain, but more so towards the light to moderate side of things. Black River Falls, you're probably getting the heaviest out of everyone else across our central zones. Southeastern zones are looking a little bit wet here this morning. Not as bad as what it was before, but still looking at some occasional downpours moving through as all this activity continues to move towards the east and northeast. Very gloomy start there from CityCam 8 in downtown La Crosse, and here's what we can expect moving forward. We're going to keep the rain chances in place through at least the morning. We'll start to see this begin to taper, though, as we head into this afternoon. In fact, it really could end a little bit earlier than what we're thinking as some drier air continues to move in on the west side of this disturbance tracking through. I'll have more details on all this coming up in the full weather forecast in a few minutes. Jeremy?
Thanks, Derek. Let's get to some news this morning. You might need to find an alternate way to work this morning. Losey Boulevard will be under construction for utility work starting today. The southbound right-hand lane will be closed. The work is to replace storm catch basins. People in Holmen ended their weekend with some tunes. Crowds gathered at Halfway Creek Bandshell for Sunday concerts in the park. For 14 years, bands have been entertaining concert goers. Each year, they get rotated. Concert coordinator Nancy Proctor explained the origins of the successful concert series.
Well, the village built this bandshell about 15 years ago, and the first year there wasn't anything here. And I was employed at the village at that time as a board member. And I said to the Park and Rec director, why do we have a bandshell if we don't have any music? He said, well, because we didn't have anybody to do that. But if you know how to do it, do it.
Concerts in the park will run every Sunday until September 17th. This weekend, Cornfest will take center stage. For the last 15 summers, fundraising in Chaseburg has had a unique Coulee flavor. The village had chicken queue and horse pole. The chicken queue raises money for the Ladies Auxiliary of Chaseburg, and the horse pole raises money for the community and the Cancer Society. Co-chair Pam Suchek described how it started and how it's changed throughout time.
The horse bowl started in 2005 as the Carl Wolf Memorial Horse Bowl. That was my dad. We started the event in memory of him after he passed away from leukemia. The family, Carl Wolf's family, held the event for 10 years. And then the family decided to step away, but my husband and I continued on. So this is our 19th year hosting the Horse Bowl.
The event is held annually. Cloudy skies and some cool temps didn't stop people from enjoying the last day of Irish Fest. The festival concluded after a two-day run here in La Crosse. For almost 2 decades, people have been attending to dance, enjoy some drinks, and celebrate Irish culture. The festival includes entertainment, contests, and food. Volunteer coordinator Shelley Cole explains how the event has changed since it started.
This event, again, it's been going for 18 years now, so we've got a lot of people here that come every single year. Back when it used to be just a little festival, and now it's a huge 3-day event.
In case you missed Irish Fest, another La Crosse festival is around the corner. Oktoberfest starts next Monday. The good times were rolling in Holmen over the weekend. The 6th annual Holmen Summer Splash log rolling competition ran from Friday to Saturday. Friday was reserved for advanced rollers in the Cooley region to show off their skills. Saturday was open to rollers that are new or have little competition experience. The sport has a rich history in the La Crosse area.
There have been several world champions produced out of our program, and I think log rolling started about 30 years ago in La Crosse, and we've built up programs in La Crosse, Onalaska, Holmen, and La Crescent ever since.
Papadopoulos also mentioned that it's been amazing to see the growth of the sport in the Cooley region. The first Holmen Summer Splash, there were about 18 participants, but this year it brought in more competitors. We caught up with one winner.
I've won one other competition, and I love log rolling. It's really fun because you get to meet more people. I'm looking forward to go later on, get into pro maybe.
The top 3 rollers in each event received a special plaque, but every competitor got to go home with a trophy, prizes, skills, friends, and memories they won't forget. Well, keeping things on a roll, the La Crescent Rotary Club hosted the 10th anniversary Apple Blossom Bike Tour at Veterans Park. The Apple Blossom Bike Tour was more than just a chance to enjoy the nice weather and ride through the beautiful area. It was also a fundraiser for 3 different causes. Money was raised for polio research, the physician assistant program at Gunderson, and lung cancer research, all while enjoying the La Crescent community. One organizer said that city is the perfect scene for a nice bike ride.
The Apple Blossom Bike Tour is such a good event to bring La Crescent community together. We have some of the most beautiful areas in the whole tri-state area to bicycle.
Recently, the city was designated or received a bronze level bicycle friendly community by the League of American Bicyclists. La Crescent is one of only 5 cities in Minnesota to earn that award. The tour started off with an award ceremony to commemorate the accomplishment. La Crosse, meanwhile, has the distinction of being a silver level bicycle friendly community. Airline ticket prices are dropping around the country. What that means for your holiday travel plans, still ahead on your morning news. And driverless taxis have been approved in San Francisco, but not everyone is on board. News 8 has the details. That and more coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Researchers in Egypt have discovered a whale fossil that is believed to be the smallest whale species in recorded history. The fossil was unearthed about 25 miles from Wadi al-Hihan, an UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its wealth of ancient fossils. The specimen is thought to be 41 million years old. It's named Tutsi Rhaenesis after Tutankhamun, the famed boy king of ancient Egypt. At 8 feet in length and 400 pounds in weight, the whale was only the size of a bottlenose dolphin.
Continue to watch a very wet morning develop across the Cooley region, as you can see right there behind me, where the majority of the heavy rain continues to fall across the Chippewa Valley. In fact, so far in Eau Claire, you picked up an inch of rain since around midnight tonight, and especially off towards the west. That's where we're seeing the majority of some of that heavier showers and thunderstorms currently focused up towards Dunn County. Now, meanwhile, down to the south across our central zones, we are looking at some light to moderate rain that continues to fall here this morning. Black River Falls down towards Sparta and also into Trempealeau County. We're looking at some of those showers and some thunderstorms as well. Also down to the south, that's where we're tracking some of the rain and thunderstorms as well for you. Richland Center, also just west of the Prairie du Chien area is where we're seeing some of those scattered showers and some embedded thunderstorms. Everything continues to move towards the east this morning. We'll get a check now on your zone forecast today. It's going to be much cooler thanks to all the abundant moisture in place containing the cloud cover and showers. Temperatures are going to be into the 60s this afternoon, and the same could be said down to the south of us as well. 68 today in Stoddard, and highs will reach 64 in Blair today. Meanwhile, Osseo, you'll be at 63, and Eau Claire, a high of 65 degrees today. A check now on your dog walking conditions. A very wet and stormy start this morning, which will continue into portions of the afternoon, and then by this evening, maybe a few drizzles left over, mainly cloudy skies. Your full check on your full weather forecast is coming up in just a bit.
In your consumer news this morning, U.S. Steel has announced that it's considering offers to sell. The company will either sell off some of its assets or its entire operation. One potential buyer is Cleveland Cliffs, a major U.S. Steel competitor. CNC says it made a $7 billion offer to buy 100% of U.S. Steel's stock, which was rejected. U.S. Steel was founded in 1901 by financier J.P. Morgan and at one time was the largest steel producer in the world. But the company has fallen on hard times, with share prices dropping 24% in the last 5 years. Well, there's good news for folks looking to travel later this year, as new data shows U.S. airfares are dropping. According to travel site Hopper, the average domestic flight cost about $257 million round trip. Right now, that's down 11% from this time last year. Experts say the reason for the drop is the end of travel season, along with declining jet fuel prices and increased airline capacities. But they warn that end of season price drops typically don't last, so book your fall getaway while you can. Driverless taxis have officially arrived in California. In a vote late last week, regulators in San Francisco gave the green light to 2 companies that operate robo-taxis. Previously, companies that offer driverless cab services could only operate in a limited testing capacity. Now they could operate 24/7 in all parts of the city and charge for their services. The vote followed 6 hours of public comment, with San Franciscans speaking both for and against driverless taxis. Some of those opposed to the proposal included first responders, activists, and city transportation leaders. You may be able to get an extra in your coffee soon. USA Today reports that Dunkin' Donuts is launching a new line of iced coffees and teas that have alcohol in them. The new Dunkin' Spiced has no date as to when it will be available, but it will include original, caramel, mocha, and vanilla flavor options. The new teas flavors will include slightly sweet half and half, strawberry, dragon fruit, and mango pineapple. The coffees are expected to have 6% alcohol, and the new teas are expected to have 5% alcohol by volume. Inflation rose over the month of July, but some economists are seeing progress on the fight against inflation. Karen Kafa gives a look at why some economists are hopeful even with the slight increase.
A bump along the Federal Reserve's road to a target inflation rate of 2%. The Bureau of Labor Statistics said Thursday the Consumer Price Index rose 3.2% year over year in July, its first annual uptick in 13 months. Economists say there's more to that year over year figure, which is a far cry from a 40-year high of 9.1% hit in June 2022.
Well, it is not quite mission accomplished yet, but a significant progress on the inflation front has been made.
Housing costs remain stubborn, up 7.7% from 1 year ago and pushing the overall annual index higher. The report said shelter costs accounted for the bulk of a month-to-month increase in overall consumer prices of 0.2%. With the housing market still coming down from its screaming pandemic-era highs and feeling the pressure of the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes to curb inflation, economists like Sungwon Son of Loyola Marymount University expect a turnaround in shelter costs, especially the rental market, ahead.
Sooner or later, we will see rents declining, and that's going to bring down the inflation rate quite a bit.
Energy and food also saw slight upticks from June to July. Items like beef, apples, and coffee cost more. Eggs, chicken, and milk a little bit less. And airline fares and used cars and trucks were among other areas that saw decreases.
That's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check in with Derek and today's forecast. Derek.
All right, thanks for that, Jeremy. Sure is a very wet start here to the day so far, as you can see right there behind me from our local Doppler radar. Much of the showers are mainly focused towards the north, where we're seeing some of those heavy downpours currently being felt in areas like Bloomer, up towards the north, and Ladysmith and Eau Claire, which, by the way, you picked up around an inch of rain here so far today, and you can see plenty of showers mainly focused across our central zones, Black River Falls, Mentor, and also down into areas like Sparta, and further south into Richland Center, also watching some showers, and also for you in Basketball. West of Prairie du Chien, looking at a heavy thunderstorm about to move through your area, while all this continues to move its way towards the east and northeast. Associated with this low pressure system, as long as that remains intact, it's going to continue to move in some moisture across the area. Although there is some drier air being felt with this system right now, we'll be monitoring that for trends in case some of that rain may actually let up a little bit earlier. But you can see Eau Claire currently measuring around an inch of rain so far. The rest of us just under that 10/100ths of an inch there for most locations. So Sky Tracker showing that the majority of the rain will continue to move through the area through this morning. Some drier air back to the west. We'll keep our eyes on that. And then as we head into 2 o'clock this afternoon, majority of that rain will continue to move away. Most of it will be focused down towards the south. Here's 7 o'clock in the evening, and you can see the rain showers continue to come to a close there. Some leftover clouds before we see some clearing skies in the forecast as we head into tonight, which will continue as we head into early tomorrow morning, along with some light northerly winds there and mostly clear skies as we head into tomorrow, first half of tomorrow that is, and then by tomorrow afternoon, just a few clouds that could move in, and really throughout the rest of tomorrow night, just looking at a few passing clouds. City Cam 8 in downtown La Crosse, very gloomy start with some rain showers that continue to move through. 67 is the current temperature with light east winds at around 10 miles an hour. Meanwhile, to the north in Eau Claire, looking wet here. Temperatures currently at 62, light east winds at around 8 miles an hour, and current temperature readings are mainly into the 60s as you head out the door this morning. So as we take a look now at your day planner, scattered thunderstorms may continue through at least 7 o'clock. Watching for more storms that could become possible during the early afternoon. Otherwise, scattered showers around 4 o'clock, and then by 8 o'clock, partly cloudy. Temperatures dropping to 62, and our forecast highs today mainly will be into the 60s today. Here's a check now on your 8-day forecast, and then we're going to be turning much more seasonable with our temperatures starting as early as tomorrow. That trend will continue with highs into the low to mid 80s throughout the rest of this work week before turning hot as we head into this weekend and early next week, because as you can see there, highs will climb into the low 90s, lows into the 50s and 60s. Stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather, and that's still to come on News 8 Now this morning. For now, we're sending you a break with a look what happened on this day in history for August 14th. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Morning Blitz. We have a former Westby Norrisman who's entering his senior year on the UWL football team. He's hoping to lead his team back to the playoffs. Ryan Daines graduated Westby in 2019 and then found his way to UWL. He didn't see the field much his freshman year, but in 2021, Daines lit it up, starting all 12 games, leading the team in tackles, and being named to the American Football Coaches Association All-American Second Team. Then he followed that up with a fantastic junior year, playing in all 11 games and leading the team in tackles again. Now, going into his final season, Daines says that his time at UWL is something that he'll always remember.
I mean, going back to my freshman year, I've had great mentors the whole way. Still have guys that I've known since my freshman year that are still on the team, which is awesome. And being close to those guys and kind of building those relationships has just been one of the best experiences I've had. the other thing that's huge about being a local guy is just all the fan support you get during game days and stuff like that. It just couldn't be more blessed with that in that sense.
Well, Dane said that he spent the offseason working on his linebacker craft and pass rushing technique. He'll get his senior year started on August 31st against Dakota State. All right, up at Carson Park, the Loggers taking on the Express in the Northwoods League playoffs. Scoreless game in the fourth, but with a runner on, Danny Neary grounds one to short. He's thrown out, but a run scores Loggers in front. A few innings later, Eau Claire with the runner on second, ground ball to third, but he can't hold on to it. Gets to the outfield, the throw home, not in time. The Express tie this game up. Still tied in the ninth, but with a man on, Matthew Pietrowski sends one back up the middle. That's down for a base hit. Brandon Fields comes in to score. Lacrosse out in front. Drama in the bottom half, though. Bases loaded, one out, but Tony Pluta gets the strikeout, and then next batter, it's called strike three. Game over. Loggers take game one of the series 2-1. Game two tonight down at Copeland Park. To the MLB, the Brewers trying to sweep the White Sox. Scoreless game in the second, but with a runner on, the runners at the corners, Mark Canha pops one up to shallow right field. That ball's caught, a great catch, but the Brewers take the lead anyway, 1-0. Fifth inning now, Brewers trying to add another, and Andrew Monasterio is going to do just that. He gets one down the left field line. Adames will score from second. Brewers make it 2-0. Freddie Peralta on the mound, and he was lights out. 6 full innings, striking out 6, gave up 0 runs. 8th inning, and here's where things get fun. 2 men on for Carlos Santana, and he sends that one to deep center field. Defense giving chase, but that ball is gone. A 3-run home run. It's 5-0 Brewers, and then Yelich is going to add 2 more with the bases loaded in the ninth, and the Brewers, they go on to win this one 7-3. And in the American League, the Twins trying to protect their AL Central lead. They were going up against the Philadelphia Phillies. First inning, nobody on. Now but Jordan Luplow, he gets a good chunk of this one, sending it deep to center field. That one's gone. A solo shot puts the Twins in front. Sonny Gray on the mound, in some trouble in the second, but gets Schwarber to go down on strikes and strands the bases loaded. Next inning, and Jorge Polanco smokes one to third base. Defense can't field it cleanly. A run scores. The Twins, they would go on to win this one 3-0. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you later tonight.
Expect more from News 8 Now. Thanks for watching.
Many eyes are on the state of Georgia this week, where former President Donald Trump could face yet another indictment. Prosecutors have been looking into alleged election interference on the part of the former president and his allies. Related to the 2020 election, CBS News' Jared Hill has the latest.
We love Iowa. Former President Trump courted votes in Iowa over the weekend, ahead of a possible 4th indictment, this one out of Georgia.
We did nothing wrong. We don't ever take a sir.
Yes, sir.
We don't take a plea.
This morning, there's more security around the courthouse in Fulton County, ahead of a possible charging decision this week. District Attorney Fani Willis.
Obviously, we're concentrating on Georgia and things that impacted Georgia.
At the center of her nearly 2.5-year investigation, a phone call from January 2nd, 2021, from then President Trump to Georgia's Secretary of State Brett Raffensperger regarding the 2020 election, seeking to potentially overturn the results.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
CBS News has learned several witnesses have been subpoenaed to appear before the grand jury, including former Republican Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan. Legal experts expect the Fulton County DA could bring charges against the former president and his allies through Georgia's Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Law, known as RICO, alleging a wide-ranging conspiracy.
An indictment in Georgia could be different from the other 3 for former President Donald Trump. Cameras are generally allowed in Georgia courtrooms, so an arraignment could be televised. An electric provider for the state of Hawaii is facing a new lawsuit in connection to the deadly wildfire ravage in the state. 3 separate law firms have filed a complaint against, Hawaiian Electric Industries and 3 subsidiaries. According to the lawsuit, HEI failed to shut down power lines during Hurricane Dora. They allege that electrified power lines caused the wildfire, but did not specify the exact cause of the fire. Hawaii officials say they will conduct a full review to determine what caused the wildfire. The summer drought has been hurting farmers across the region. Marielle Mose talks to one group of farmers who are expecting to have a great harvest due to the wet winter.
Mel Napton's pear harvest is already ready to be picked. His son Gabe helps with the physical labor.
They come right off. It's really the same technique for picking apples.
Of the 44 years that this family-owned farm in the northwest part of the metro has existed, each year is unpredictable.
What comes. We've had our share of bad weather, you know.
The drought certainly doesn't help, but
We'd be hurting if we didn't have that spring recharge that we had.
remember that long winter we suffered through 8 months ago? Well, it saved this year's surplus.
What helped was the snow.
The moisture was a blessing.
The snow fell so early last winter, it insulated the ground.
The ground didn't freeze under the snow. There was carrots in the garden this spring that were still good.
Then the spring melt laid the groundwork for a successful growing season.
Even up here on this hilltop where it is dry, they're doing fine.
The only downside to a fruitful year?
Look at this, these are quite heavy.
Too much weight can snap the branches.
We try to thin apples, and there's some that could have been thinned even more.
These apples grew so quickly, they'll be ready to pick earlier than usual. Who knew such a sour winter could end up so sweet? Now, Napton's Farm and Orchard does have one variety of apple ready to pick right now, but the prime picking season is going to be mid-September.
Napton's also grows raspberries that are ready to pick, as well as pumpkins that will be ready by October. The civil lawsuit filed against the 10 fake electors for former President Donald Trump will proceed. A Wisconsin judge rejected a move to dismiss the case. 2 Democratic electors and a voter filed the suit. They're seeking $2.4 million from the fake GOP electors and 2 of Trump's attorneys. The lawsuit accuses the 10 electors and the attorneys of being a part of a conspiracy promoted by Trump and his allies to overturn the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. The faked elector plan, which allegedly originated in Wisconsin, was central to the federal indictment filed against Trump earlier this month. One of the fake electors named in the lawsuit is Bill Feehan, the GOP party chair for Wisconsin's 3rd congressional district. President Biden is expected to be in Milwaukee tomorrow. The White House announced that the president will, quote, deliver remarks on how Bidenomics is investing in America to grow the economy. This comes a week after Vice President Kamala Harris visited Southeast Wisconsin to promote investments in broadband internet. The expected trip will be Biden's 6th visit to the state since taking office. The visit also comes 1 week before the August 23rd Republican presidential debate in Milwaukee. The pavilion that serves over 400,000 cream puffs to the Wisconsin State Fair is getting a few upgrades. Stephanie Rodriguez explains how the state is going to invest some dough into the cream puff pavilion.
Cream puffs have been called the heart and soul of the state fair. Thank you. And soon, some changes are coming to their headquarters.
During the run of the fair, during 11 days, we are the busiest bakery in the world. 400,000 cream puffs in 11 days.
For 99 years, cream puffs have been the center of the fair.
Every year I go to State Fair just to get a cream puff. It's definitely a staple for me and my family, so we grew up doing it, so I'm going to do it to this day.
It takes 4 hours to make one cream puff using the same recipe that fairgoers know and love.
It's the same process as when I was younger, just seeing them do the same exact thing in the same building. So I appreciate that, seeing the same thing every year.
Team Cream Puff tackles the hundreds of thousands of pastries every year, but they've outgrown their space.
Oh, they're in here for 3 hours at a time, maybe, filling puffs.
In 2017, $6 million were earmarked to renovate the Cream Puff Pavilion.
Puffs before people.
This year, an additional $6.5 million was approved in the state budget for the project.
They come out on the other end all sliced for us.
With changes to the assembly area and the commercial-grade bakery, the plan looks to improve aesthetics and productivity.
Look at all those happy cream puff lovers out there.
With a current sales average of $1.3 million annually, more staff and better crowd management is a priority, so more people can do this.
It's just a family tradition, that stays. So well into the future, we're going to keep that tradition alive.
According to the original budget proposal, renovation could begin in March of next year.
Another hope with this renovation is to market the Cream Puff Pavilion as an event venue outside of the 11 days of the fair. All right, let's send it over to Derek to tell us what to expect for our morning commute. Derek, and are you a fan of Cream Puffs?
You know, I don't think I've ever tried one, Jeremy. I don't know, they sound pretty good though. Well, it's a little bit wet outside here this morning across much of the Cooley region, especially towards the north in the Chippewa Valley, where we're seeing the majority of some of those heavier showers now moving through. Eau Claire, you're getting a much needed break. We saw around an inch of rain here so far picked up since midnight. But Bloomer, you're looking at some heavy downpours moving in. So was Highway 53. Black River Falls along I-94, looking at some heavy showers now moving into your neighborhoods. Along our southern communities, we're looking at some heavy showers, some embedded thunderstorms north of Prairie du Chien as well, looking at some lightning activity there. All the rain and thunderstorms continue to move towards the east and northeast. We could see a little bit of some more before this all wraps up later today. I do have that in the forecast this afternoon. Temperatures just shy of that 70-degree mark for tonight. 54, still unseasonably cool out there under partly cloudy skies. Your morning, your morning forecast, I should say, looking at some showers and thunderstorms for the morning that may continue into the early afternoon. Maybe a little bit of some light drizzle that could linger into the afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies for the rest of the day with those temperatures well into the 60s. But stay tuned. We'll have a final check on your full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes. And we'll time out the rain here on Sky Tracker and all that and more as well. Coming up in our Buzz Report, if you're out of shows to watch on Netflix or Hulu, good news might be coming soon. Hollywood writers have received an offer from major studios that could end the strike. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, it continues to be a wet start here across much of the Cooley region this morning. Take a look at the radar sweep and you can see plenty of heavy downpours still occurring in portions of the viewing area, especially up towards the Chippewa Valley, where we're still seeing some light to moderate rain showers at least coming down. Eau Claire, you're getting a much needed break here for now, but you can see areas like Cooks Valley looking at some heavy showers now moving into your general direction. Up towards Clark County, you're also looking at some heavy showers still moving through. Our eastern and central zones also looking at some light to moderate rain. Areas like Black River Falls, up and down I-94 as well. East towards Mauston and eastern Monroe County looking at some heavy showers as well. Heavy downpours occurring still around Richland Center and US 14. I'm also watching a few thunderstorms just south of the Lansing area north of the Prairie du Chien area. But in general, all this activity continues to pull towards the east and northeast. Most of the heavy rain, though, has exited the Cooley region associated with this low pressure system that I'm watching here. But we could be looking at some drier air having some implications on the rest of the wet weather that could be in play here for today. See all this area here? This is all drier air filtering in across the Cooley region. So if this continues, this could limit the rain chances for the rest of the day today. We'll keep our eyes on that. But nonetheless, the models still indicate that we could be looking at some more rain moving in associated with this system. We'll watch out for that. An inch of rain here so far has fell up towards the Eau Claire area. The rest of us, not really a whole lot, around 10/100ths of an inch or so, if not less than that in some spots. Again, the model still suggests that we could be looking at some rain showers developing across portions of the area throughout the morning, despite some of that drier air intrusion in the upper levels of the atmosphere. But again, we'll watch out for that throughout the rest of the morning and also into the early afternoon before this does begin to clear out. By the time we reach the late afternoon to early evening hours especially, that's when rain chances will really come to a close. And then overnight tonight, everything's gone, including the cloud cover. We're looking mainly clear here throughout the night here in store. And that trend does continue as we head into early tomorrow morning and also into the beginning of tomorrow. Just a few passing clouds. We could be looking at a few clouds moving in from the northwest as we head into tomorrow afternoon, followed by just a few leftover clouds heading into tomorrow night in general. City Cam 8 obviously off to a very gloomy and wet start out there. Be careful on your morning commute. Watch out for some slick roadways as well. Temperatures at 67 in La Crosse, 62 with some showers now being reported in Eau Claire. Light east winds at around 8 miles an hour. And you can see our current temperature readings are mainly into the 60s. We're going to continue to keep those temperatures in the 60s throughout the day with some off and on scattered showers and a few thunderstorms still possible. And our highs today unseasonably cool into those mid to upper 60s. But we will be turning much warmer and seasonable as we head throughout the rest of the work week ahead, with those highs in the low to mid 80s under mixed clouds and sun. Turning much hotter though as we head into this weekend and also into the beginning of next week on Mondays. Highs climb into those low to mid 90s, lows into the 50s and 60s.
In our morning buzz report, the Writers Guild of America announced that it has received a counteroffer from major Hollywood studios. The development comes after both sides returned to the negotiating table last week. The writer's strike is nearing 110 days. That's longer than the 2007-2008 strike, which went on for 93 days by comparison. It has shut down late-night shows and delayed fall TV premieres. The Writers Guild says it's currently evaluating the offer and will respond by the end of this week.
We're not just here to memorialize hip-hop. Hip-hop is not going to die here. It's going to live here. So 50 years, that's good, but we're here for the next 50 years.
Last week, New Yorkers celebrated hip-hop's 50th anniversary in true hip-hop fashion with a block party. The Jubilee took place in the Bronx, where hip-hop was born partway through the turbulent times of the 1970s. The Bronx isn't just the birthplace of the genre, it's also the future home of the Universal Museum of Hip-Hop. Dozens of artists took the stage as part of the event's Rap Mania showcase, hosted by Van Silk, Chuck D, Mel M, and Flavor Flav were just a few of the stars who turned out to perform and honor the musical movement. The museum will open next year. Elsewhere in the world of music, singer Beyonce was in Atlanta this weekend as part of her Renaissance World Tour. The New York of the South gave Queen Bey a royal welcome as the singer arrived in ATL, a giant sign 450 feet above downtown read, "Welcome to Bay TL." The sign, sitting atop one of the city's tallest skyscrapers, is the length of 2 basketball courts. The pop star performed 2 concerts over the weekend, with another show scheduled for this evening.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Well, you may get another chance to visit Jurassic Park in theaters. The classic Steven Spielberg film is returning to theaters for its upcoming 30th anniversary. The dinosaurs are expected to stomp into Real D theaters across the country on August 24th.
I know she hurt you, but I'm sure she misses her best friend.
I'm gonna take that as a maybe.
Adam Sandler stars with his wife and daughters in the new comedy You're Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah. The new comedy Family Fare will be a Netflix feature and is expected to be available to stream on August 25th. Now, Derek, I don't know about you, but I am looking forward to that Adam Sandler comedy. And it's so funny, before we return from break, I don't know why, I was thinking of him.
He's a funny guy.
Very
you know,
funny.
I like some of his movies out there, but yeah, you know, I know we were talking about this in the last hour too, Jeremy. Like, I still can't believe 30 years since Jurassic Park. That's insane to me, you know, and that's been out as long as I've been around. I'm almost 30 years old. Next year I'll be 30.
I was just going to say that. And hip hop too. I can't wait to visit that museum. I look forward to its opening. But 50 years, I mean, it's amazing to think, you know, how many artists it's, you know, inspired, and look where they are now.
I know, it's insane to believe that. But we got some birthdays to celebrate as well today, Jeremy. So we got 3 of them here that we're going to do today for you. And our first one is to Madeline, who is turning 8 months old. Now, she loves her mom, dad, and her dog, Molly.
She's adorable.
She is.
Ellie is turning 8. She enjoys math, soccer, and being a great sister.
Alita is turning 88 today. She taught 3rd grade for more than 30 years and is still teaching friends and family today.
If you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website. It's news8000.com and look for the Submit Pictures button underneath the Home tab on our website.
Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next. Welcome back. You might need to find an alternate way to work this morning. Losey Boulevard will be under construction for utility work. Starting today, the southbound right-hand lane will be closed. The work is to replace storm catch basins. The civil lawsuit filed against the 10 fake electors for former President Donald Trump will proceed. A Wisconsin judge rejected a move to dismiss the case. 2 Democratic electors and a voter filed the suit. They're seeking $2.4 million from the fake GOP electors and 2 of Trump's attorneys. The lawsuit accuses the 10 electors and the attorneys of being a part of a conspiracy promoted by Trump and his allies to overturn the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. The fake elector plan, which allegedly originated in Wisconsin, was central to the federal indictment filed against Trump earlier this month. One of the fake electors named in the lawsuit is Bill Feehan, the GOP party chair for Wisconsin's 3rd congressional district. President Biden is expected to be in Milwaukee tomorrow. The White House announced that the president will, quote, deliver remarks on how Bidenomics is investing in America to grow the economy. This comes a week after Vice President Kamala Harris visited Southeast Wisconsin to promote investments in broadband internet. The expected trip will be Biden's 6th visit to the state since taking office. The visit also comes 1 week before the August 23rd Republican presidential debate in Milwaukee. The good times were rolling in Holmen over the weekend. The 6th annual Holmen Summer Splash log rolling competition ran from Friday to Saturday. Friday was reserved for advanced rollers in the Cooley region to show off their skills. Saturday was open to rollers that are new or have little competition experience. The sport has a rich history in the La Crosse area.
There have been several world champions produced out of our program, and I think log rolling started about 30 years ago in La Crosse, and we've built up programs in La Crosse, Onalaska, Holmen, and La Crescent ever since.
Papadopoulos also mentioned that it's been amazing to see the growth of the sport in the Cooley region. The first Holmen Summer Splash, there were about 18 participants, but this year it brought in more competitors. We caught up with one winner.
I've won one other competition, and I love log rolling. It's really fun because you get to meet more people. I'm looking forward to go later on, get into pro maybe.
The top 3 rollers in each event received a special plaque, but every competitor got to go home with a trophy, prizes, skills, friends, and memories they won't forget.
And as you head out the door this morning, it's a little bit wet out there. We're still tracking some showers and storms moving through portions of the area this morning, so keep that umbrella handy. You might need it here. Watch out for some more pop-up showers and storms that could become possible. I think we'll lower the rain chances, though, as the day goes on, with temperatures into the 60s here today. Very unseasonably cool here for this time of the year in mid-August, but temperatures will warm right back up into the seasonable side for the rest of the work week. Highs in the low 80s under mostly sunny skies, but it's going to be turning hot, though, as we head into this weekend and early next week. Highs will climb into the low to mid-90s, lows in the 50s and 60s. So, you know, we got a much drier week here ahead. We could use the rain. I think today put a bit of a dent here in the drought that we're seeing outside right now, Jeremy, but hopefully we'll get more here later. But enjoy the drier week that's in store, though.
You know, that 69, is that like a little tease of fall?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's a bit of an anomaly here for today, and that's because we're that low pressure system that we're dealing with, bringing us some of the cooler weather right now. So, you know, once that gets out of here, it's going to start to warm up pretty quickly.
Well, that's what you call summer weather in San Francisco.
Exactly.
Thank you for watching News 8 Now. Don't forget to keep up with the news of the day on news8000.com. We'll have the latest updates to today's top stories on News 8 Now at noon. Have a great day. Thank you for watching News 8.